Talk about your big Mondays. It's a big Monday of sports in the big town. Men's finals to the left, Mets baseball to the right. Mets opening an 11-game homestand tonight as they take on the Nats. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Washington Nationals. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling, the triumvirate back together tonight as the Mets open an 11-game homestand, the first of 4 against the Washington Nationals. This has been a proving ground in September for the Mets to see who belongs for next year. And one of the guys who's really taken advantage of his opportunity, particularly during this last road trip, Eric Young. He had .348 during the just completed road trip and really putting in his marker to be the Mets leadoff hitter not only this year, but next year as well.
But another thing, too, is that he can play both the outfield and second base. So Sandy Alderson has a nice problem there, if you want to call it a problem. He's been red hot in the second half since joining the Mets. 28 stolen bases. In the second half, he's had 20 stolen bases. That leads the majors. This is the game-winning double. Yesterday's ball game in Cleveland that avoided the sweep. So he's done a terrific job here, making a statement that he wants to stay here and looking either to play a role in the outfield or second base or both.
Also competing for a job on next year's team is tonight's starting pitcher Carlos Torres. He's made 5 starts. 4 of them have been very good. The one not good against Washington, who he faces tonight.
Well, he struggled. He gave up a grand slam that knocked him out of the game to Wilson Ramos, but he has been outstanding. His last start, it's hard to say it was a bad start, even though he lost. Went great 6 innings, gave up a couple of home runs in the 7th to the Braves.
And last year's 21-game winner, Gio Gonzalez, goes for the Nats. Not as many wins this year, but he's turned it on coming down the stretch.
He has turned it on going down the stretch, but it's really been the walks that have plagued Gio, and especially first or second inning. If you're a Met fan, you watch, and he struggles the first, second inning, he's going to have a tough day.
The Nats still on the fringes of the National League wildcard race, 8 games behind. The Mets will try and thwart their chances tonight. Mets and Nats, all the action coming your way on SNY. Times are waiting. Grab some buds. Buy Grinds coffee pouches. Get the product the players use and visit getgrinds.com today. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By State Farm. Tonight's State Farm agent of the game is Gil Walton of the Bronx. Contact Gil's office at gilwalton.net. And by People's United Bank. Know-how that's helped customers succeed for 170 years. That's People's United Bank, when know-how can do. Member FDIC. Get to Citi Field this Sunday afternoon. The first 25,000 fans attending the 110 game against the Marlins will receive a Mets knit hat, courtesy of Caesars. And after the game, kids 12 and under can run the bases, presented by Banana Boat. Get to Mets.com for tickets. It's the Mets and the Nats opening a 4-game series at Citi Field. The bullpen's fired up. Carlos Torres getting ready to throw the first pitch. That's next. Cholula Hot Sauce. Head to Citi Field's Fan Fest and step into the cage to test your luck against the Cholula Flamethrower. Available in 4 flavors. Cholula Hot Sauce, the flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap. Kids go free to Citi Field with the purchase of a regularly priced ticket. Up to 3 kids 12 and under will get free admission to Mets games through September 19th. Call 718-507-TIXX or get to Mets.com/kidsfree for tickets. Hyundai starting lineup for the Nationals. Bryce Harper out at least today and tomorrow with an inflamed hip. Hopes to be back on Wednesday. So a start for Tyler Moore in left field for the Nats. Otherwise their regular lineup as they try and stay within sniffing distance of the National League wildcard race.
You know, we were talking in the open about Carlos Torres' tough start against Washington. Well, that was in Washington. Here at Citi Field, he has been outstanding. 14 appearances, 2 of them starts, and he is 4-0 with a 1.13 ERA.
And the Lexus Metropolitan defense. Well, they played good D for those ball games. And Brown in right field, of course. Like a left-hander gets the start. Duda against the left-hander. I like that. At first base, Flores back on the lineup. So that is good to see. There's Davey.
This will be Davey Johnson's final trip back to Flushing as the Nationals manager. Who knows what the future holds for Davey, but this is going to be his last year as skipper for the Nats.
I mean, you would think that he'd move on as a consultant. There's the Mets manager, Terry Collins.
And I know that George Vesey of the New York Times is going to be writing a nice story about Davey. He's here today, and he called me yesterday for some comments on Davey.
And I talked to him also.
Yep, so I'm looking forward to reading that column that Davey much deserves.
You guys had nice things to say.
I said he was a no-good son of a gun.
Denard Span, one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now, will lead off for the Nats. It's been an indifferent season for Washington after they won 98 games and blew away the National League East last year, but they're putting on what they hope will not be a belated run. They've gone 19-9 since the 9th of August, tied for the best record in the major leagues over that span. But because the teams ahead of them, the 3 teams in the Central, have played so well, they're still 8 games back of Cincinnati for that second wild card spot.
15-5. They have 20 games left. Only gets them to 88 wins. I don't think that's going to be enough in the National League.
19-1 maybe?
Yeah, there you go.
There's the wild card race. The Cardinals are a game and a half ahead of the Pirates and the Reds, so they're holding down the top 2 wild card spots, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, with the Nats and the Diamondbacks hoping to put on a huge late run over the last 3 weeks of the season. Denard Span is riding a 19-game hitting streak right now, which is the longest current streak in the major leagues. He's hitting .397 over those 19 games. Carlos Torres set to go, and the first pitch of the night is a fastball in for a strike. And why not? Torres has been throwing strike after strike after strike. It's one of the reasons he's been so successful.
62 1/3 innings, 8 base on balls.
Walked only 1 in 7 innings in Atlanta in his last start, which turned out to be a losing effort after he pitched 6 scoreless innings and then gave up a couple of home runs in the 7th that wound up beating him. Ryan Zimmerman on deck. He's found a home in the 2-hole and hitting for power lately. Jason Worth behind him. Corners in against Span, who can get a bunt down. And he yanks one foul on the cutter from Torres, 1-2.
Well, this was a Washington team that has struggled scoring runs, and we look at the Coors Light hard facts, Garrett.
Cold hard facts to boot. As you see, the longest current hitting streaks in the majors. Span the longest.
Shin Soo Choo has had quite a year, hasn't he?
Well, he and Joey Votto have been running 1-2 all year in the National League in on-base percentage. One of the reasons the Reds are doing so well. They even won a game in which Clayton Kershaw started against them last night. 1-2, and Span fouls it off.
Well, they fired their hitting coach, Rick Eckstein, around 5 weeks ago. As you look at the motion.
There used to be a phrase, rock and fire, and that's kind of what he does. He has that big back step, and that leg comes up, and he really lets it go there late. He's a slender pitcher, but he gets a lot behind the pitch.
Well, you can see all that strain on that elbow. Boy.
One-two to Span. And he goes outside with the changeup and misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, they made quite a run offensively, and as far as their scoring production, they were down so low in the National League in runs scored. They fired Rick Eckstein, the hitting coach, around 5 weeks ago, hired Rick Shue, the former Philly infielder. And whether he's been the difference or not, I don't know, but the ball club has certainly responded.
Span drives one to deep right. That'll go over Brown's head and out of the ballpark. Span leads off the game with a home run, his 4th home run of the season. And the Nationals jump out to an instant 1-0 lead. Now, Span has hit at least 3 of his 4 home runs against the Mets. Is it all 4 or is it just 3 of the 4?
I think it's 3 of the 4, yeah.
So Span now has a 20-game hitting streak, and he extends it in fine fashion with a leadoff home run.
This is not really that bad a pitch. I think it's a cutter down and in. And, you know, he left it out over the plate a little bit too much. And the left-hander down and in, that was like a 2-iron.
Now Ryan Zimmerman, who's hit 3 home runs in his last 2 games, takes a strike.
Well, that's that 4-seamer that he can either throw straight or cut. He cut it down and in. And like you said, Keith, that really is the power. For a guy that doesn't have power, down and in is where he's going to have it.
That's got too much plate.
Zimmerman hits one out to deep left center field. Back goes Lagares deep in the gap, looking up, and it's out of here. Span and Zimmerman go back-to-back to open the ball game.
Wow.
And the Nationals have a 2-0 lead. Zimmerman's 21st, his 4th in the last 3 games, his 6th in the last 7 games. Zimmerman has found his power stroke over the last week, and the Nats put an instant hurt on Carlos Torres with back-to-back home runs.
Well, 2 no-doubters here. This was a fastball, I believe. First ball, the Zimmerman see it. Nope, another hanging slider.
The last 8 batters that Carlos Torres has faced, he's given up 4 home runs. 2 in that 7th inning in Atlanta, and then leading off here against Washington.
Now Jason Worth.
I'm sure he's done that before.
Now, I believe the only team in history to hit 3 straight home runs to start a game was the San Diego Padres. Marvell Wynn, Tony Gwynn, and I think John Kruk.
John Kruk, yes.
So Jason Worth in that spot, the Kruckian spot. 1 and 2 to Worth, who's had a tremendous year after missing some time early this season because of injury. 3rd in the National League in batting, 4th in on-base percentage, 3rd in slugging percentage. So a stunning start for the Nats. Torres, who gave up 2 home runs in his last inning in Atlanta, gives up 2 home runs in his first inning tonight. And this one has shades of his last start against the Nats in late July.
This is
he
like
gave up 8 runs in 3 innings.
Sorry, Gary. This is like coming out, touching the gloves, and a guy throws a haymaker and knocks you down, and you got the 8 count already.
The curveball misses outside. The full count to Worth. But Torres still looking for his first out. Ian Desmond, the cleanup hitter, is waiting on deck. The Nats came into the night 5th in the National League in home runs. They now have hit 140. And Worth pops one up. This will stay in the ballpark. Daniel Murphy settles under it, and that's the first out of the night. No Kruk.
Wasn't that?
No Kruk.
Oh, no Kruk. Yeah.
It's like getting the triple if you're going for the cycle. And that's the last hit you need.
Yeah, well, Duda had that the other day.
Yes.
Here's Ian Desmond, and he has been red hot with the bat, hitting .371 over his last 17 games, having another outstanding offensive season. 35 doubles, that's 4th in the league. And takes a fastball strike from Torres.
He's really come into his own, Desmond. He had the breakout year last year. His throwing problems are over from the defensive side. He is a nice player.
Desmond just 27 years old, the longest tenured National. His tenure goes back to the Montreal Expos days. He was drafted as an Expo. And the curveball bounced foul.
Another tall kid. Stand up next to him. I'm looking up. He's like 6'3".
I think we're shrinking. I mean, that's the
No, we're not shrinking.
No, you're not.
We're not shrinking
yet.
They're getting bigger.
Give it time, my friend. 1-2 from Torres. And he tries to hold, and he went around, strike 3. John Hirschbeck with the call. Torres has his first strikeout, 2 down in the inning.
Not so sure. No. Yeah, I guess so. What do you think, Lon?
But it was an unusual pitch because he wanted to hold up, but then the pitch was starting to come up and into him, so he kind of tried to turn away, and as he turned away, the bat went a little further.
Now here's Adam LaRoche with 2 out. LaRoche having a rough year.
And you see the big shift. The Mets have always done that against LaRoche, and he's not having a good year as right. Really struggling against left-handers, is hitting 183 this year against lefties. Had a big year last year.
A story came out the other day about LaRoche, how he's been losing weight. He takes medication for attention deficit disorder. It causes his weight to drop, and as a consequence, he hasn't taken batting practice in 2 months because he feels as though that causes him to lose even more weight. You can see he looks a lot more slender than he used to. And Torres gets him on 3 pitches to end the inning. So back-to-back strikeouts for Torres, but the Nats put together back-to-back home runs. Denard Span has been red hot. Makes it a 20-game hitting streak with a leadoff home run, the 6th of his career. And Ryan Zimmerman, who's been hitting home runs every day, does that again. 2-0 Nats. You see the rest there. Wilmer Flores back in the lineup, nursing that sore ankle. Travis d'Arnaud, after a day off yesterday, back in and catching against Gio Gonzalez. Eric Young leads things off and takes the fastball away for ball 1.
Anytime you can go Candace Bergen, I think that's a good move, Gary.
Gio Gonzalez had his career year last year, 21-8 with a 2.89. Tougher slogging this year.
Mets have faced Gio twice this year. They beat him up in late April. 5 runs in 4 innings, but then he pitched a gem here in late June, 7 scoreless en route to a 13-2 win. And Young pops one up on the right side. Anthony Rendon takes charge. 1 away.
And the Coors Light National defense. Well, they've made a lot of errors this year, and this is a team that really played well defensively. It's amazing how everything can fall right for you one year and you think you got the same group back, and what a difference a year makes. The baseball gods, Ronnie.
Karma.
Here's Daniel Murphy. Daniel had a 10-game hitting streak stopped on Saturday and then came back out yesterday and got on base 5 times in a row with 2 hits and 3 walks. The interesting part about that, Ronnie, is that Keith and I were talking about how little Murphy had walked this year right before he drew the first of those 3 walks.
It's like he was listening to you, right?
Andrew Brown hitting 3rd of the order on deck. Murph is 4th in the National League in base hits with 164, top 10 in doubles as well, and he takes the curveball outside from Gio Gonzalez, 1-1. You see what Murph did during that road trip. Had a terrific trip after being named National League Player of the week before last. Now the 2-1 coming to Murph, and he rips one foul. Gio Gonzalez, now 27 years old, coming off a 21-win season last year. He's had, is the 2-2 to Murphy. He's had 3 different years. He's had his year against the Braves, where he's gone 0-4 with a 5 ERA. He's had his year against the American League, where he's 0-2 with a 7 ERA. And then he has his year against everybody else, where he's 9-0 with a 1.93 ERA. And that includes his starts against the Mets. And there's another walk for Daniel Murphy. I think we've started a trend. He's now walked in 4 of his last 5 plate appearances, after walking just 25 times all year to that point. So now Andrew Brown will bat. Brown has been getting most of the starts against left-handed pitching, with Matt Dendecker playing against the right-handers. You see the numbers for Gio against the rest of the National League compared to his numbers against first place Atlanta.
Well, he's always been a pretty streaky pitcher, a temperamental pitcher. If he's not getting his pitches from the umpire, he tends to get out of whack sometimes.
Well, he certainly will walk people.
And so far, Bob Davidson, 2 pitches right there, he's not called. So this is the test for Gio, especially the first or second inning.
We remember that first start he made against the Mets this year, and he got very unhappy and very demonstrative about that when he walked 5 batters in that game.
But don't take it away from him. Before that 21-8 season, 15-9, 16-12, he's been one of the best left-handers in the league.
Lucas Duda hitting cleanup tonight, waiting on deck. Murphy with 18 steals on the year. And Brown swings at the changeup and misses 1-1. Okay, so we noted that the Padres were the first team to hit 3 consecutive home runs to start a game. It's happened 3 times since then.
Wow.
The Braves did it in 2003. The Brewers did it in 2007, and the Orioles did it last year. Ryan Flaherty, J.J. Hardy, and Nick Markakis. But you always remember your first. Gio ahead on Andrew Brown, 1-2, and the curveball bounced slowly. Zimmerman hurries in, his only play at first, and he gets Brown for the second out as Murphy moves up to second.
Well, Zimmerman, Gold Glove at third base, has had throwing problems, but always very athletic. Very athletic, looks to see if he has a play at second. He can just pick it over there. Very athletic, very quick on his feet, good jumps on balls. He's really a good player, all around player.
And the more he moves and the lower his arm angle, the less he has throwing issues.
Yeah.
It's when he plants and comes over the top that he has more of a problem. So a runner in scoring position for Duda. Lucas, who got off to a very good start on the road trip, 0 for his last 7. And the curveball in for a strike.
Well, when he's got it going, Gio Gonzalez's curveball is as good as you're going to see by a left-hander.
Interesting to see Duda in the lineup today against the left-hander. Josh Satin has been playing for the most part against left-handed pitching. But at this point, with the opportunity to watch Lucas every day, the Mets are taking advantage of that chance, with Ike Davis out for the rest of the year with the oblique injury. Murphy at second and 2 down. Duda this year hitting just 167 with runners in scoring position. It's been the one crimp in his year. And he takes a fastball for a strike, 1-2. First few games after he came back up, he was being much more aggressive with the bat.
Well, he's going to if he's going to stay in the big leagues, he's going to have to hit some home runs. I don't want to put it on him, but you know, the 20 home runs drive in 80, 90 runs.
And he goes down swinging to end the inning. Gonzalez has his first strikeout. After one at Citi Field, 2-0 Nats. On 101.9 FM WFAN. 3 more games to go in this series. 2 night games and a Thursday afternoon affair. Then 4 with the Marlins Friday night, doubleheader Saturday, and a day game Sunday. Then the Giants are in for 3 to conclude this 11-game homestand. Let's make their final road trip to Philly and Cincinnati, and then come home to play Milwaukee for the last 4 games of the season. Well, Carlos Torres did something that no Met pitcher had done in 10 years in the first inning, and that is give up back-to-back home runs to start a game. Last to do it, Tom Glavine, in a game against the Yankees in June of 2003, gave up back-to-back home runs to Alfonso Soriano and Derek Jeter. Here's Wilson Ramos, who is a Met killer deluxe. 77 at-bats into his anti-Met career. He takes a strike. Hitting .442 lifetime against the Mets with 5 homers and 19 RBIs in those 77 at-bats, including a grand slam against Carlos Torres when he faced him in July. And he takes a healthy rip and fouls it back. The Nationals had a 2-headed catching tandem with Ramos and Kurt Suzuki, but they traded Suzuki back to Oakland, and Ramos is now catching his 17th straight game. Tyler Moore on deck, and then Anthony Rendon in the second. So Davey Johnson, in a spot where his team basically has to win every day, is rolling out his #1 lineup every day he can.
We'll never say die, but they're not getting there. It's shocking. Someone would really have to spit the bit up.
Well, let's see. They have 20 games to play. They're 8 games behind. Once heard about a team 7 games up and 17 to play that didn't make it.
I had never heard that story.
No. Wish I had. Ramos off the end of the bat to right center. And Lagares clearing ground.
Tell you what, I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see it with my own eyes.
You know, yesterday's ball game at Yankee Stadium, Joe Girardi put in Mariano Rivera to get a 6-out save. First time he had done it, attempted to do it since 2002. So it just goes to show you that a lot of managers are doing things they don't do during the regular season, just trying to stay in it.
Well, I like Joe's explanation after the game. He said, after the end of the season,
what am I going to be able to use?
He's going to be resting for the rest of his life. I can pitch him as much as I want now. Tyler Moore playing left field tonight with Bryce Harper on the shelf. Yeah, the news was actually good for Harper today as he takes a curveball for a strike. Harper went to see the doctor in Washington. They were concerned he had a serious hip problem. Remember, he slammed into the fence twice early in the season, once in Atlanta, once in L.A. And Harper finally offered the other day that he's basically been hurting since then. And the doctor did an MRI and they found simply hip inflammation. And so Bryce Harper's going to miss today and tomorrow. And David Johnson hopes to have him back in the lineup as early as Wednesday. Oh, and 2 to Tyler Moore. And he takes it up and away. Tell you what, Bryce was running pretty fast when he tried to stretch that double into a triple in Washington against the Mets.
That's because of the night after he did not run to first base, so cause and effect.
Dan Herron strolling through the Nats dugout. A rough year for him. Moore lifts one foul. Tyler Moore last year was a valued member of the Nats coming off the bench. Had a miserable start to his season. Here's Herron.
Well, Davey Johnson last year was raving about him, Gary, that he was going to be their starting outfielder. Boy, it's just been a tough slog for him this year.
But they brought him back from the minors mid-August, and since he's been back, he has done much better. He was hitting well below 200 before his recall. He's hitting 372 since he got back 3 weeks ago. Out to center field, chasing Lagares back a few strides, and there are 2 out. So Torres, after the back-to-back home runs, has retired 5 in a row. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Cross Brewed Coors Light. Well, since the 2007 season, when the Mets let that 7-game lead get away to the Phillies, these are the largest late comebacks. The Cardinals 2 years ago, front and center, as the Braves let that one get away. Of course, the Braves and the Red Sox both had late season collapses in that 2011 season, which led to that incredible final day that no one will ever forget, including that remarkable Tampa Bay comeback against the Yankees. Anthony Rendon hitting 8th in the order.
Longoria hit a home run down the line, as low as could be, to just make it over the fence. Robert Andino got the big hit against Papelbon and the Red Sox.
Well, even before Longoria, didn't Dan Johnson hit the tying home run with 2 out in the 9th?
Yes, he did.
For the Rays, which was incredible because he hadn't done anything all year. They were down big time in that game, right? It was 7-0, I think.
Corey Wade was the pitcher for the Yankees on that blast by Johnson.
2-2 to Rendon.
Sure, Corey is very happy you brought that up, Ron.
By the way, he's now a Met.
That's why I brought it up.
The Mets just signed Wade the other day, and he finished out the season for Las Vegas.
Sometimes I'm thinking inside, and it just comes out. Well,
2-2 to Rendon with 2 out and nobody on. And he hits one on the ground. Stays down for Murphy. And he throws out Rendon to end the inning. So 6 in a row for Torres after those 2 home runs. 2-0 Nats in the second. third game of this series. Mets made a change in their rotation in this series. Aaron Harang, who was signed after the Mariners let him go and pitched briefly for Las Vegas, is going to start the final game of this series on Thursday, and John Deese is going to be pushed back a day. Probably a good idea after Deese had a rough outing his last time.
They're both on that same day as far as their time to pitch was.
Justin Turner had himself quite a visit to Cleveland, both in terms of his offensive production and the wake-up call that he received when he got tagged in the face yesterday. But Turner hit his first 2 home runs of the season in Cleveland, had a 2-run double as well, and he takes a strike. And then he had the jawing match with Joe Smith yesterday.
Yes.
In the midst of an abortive rally attempt by the Mets in the 8th.
And a big part of the ball game. Now, you telling me that Joe Smith tried to quick pitch him? Is that what happened?
Yeah, and he stepped out.
This is the tag by Cabrera.
It's really not a good tag. I mean, let me ask you a question, though. Is this a late slide or what? No. It's a terrible tag.
Fly ball out to Span in center. Turner retired.
I mean, usually you take that throw when you put you sweep the bag, get it down in front of the bag.
Well, he was in front. He could have tagged him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
It was a terrible tag. I've never seen something like that before.
You could fight after a tag like that, couldn't you? Well, other than Justin couldn't get up.
Well, he did get up, which was the good part about it. When he first went down, he looked like he was seriously hurt, but just stunned. Here's Juan Lagares, who had his 12-game hitting streak stopped yesterday, longest hitting streak by a Met rookie in 10 years. Lagares at 269 for the year. It's been a pretty good trial now for Lagares. 324 at bats. Keith, what are your overall impressions?
He's doing well. I always like a hitter that when he comes up can go the other way naturally, and he can. Now the pitchers are starting to pitch him inside. He's got some adjustments to make. They can get in there. But I'd rather have a hitter go the other way naturally. We know he can drive the ball to the opposite field into the gap. Then you learn to pull. It's just whether he can make that adjustment. Sometimes I think that he thinks too much up there, and I get a little concerned over that.
Lays off the curveball 2-2.
But I think he's got a chance. I mean, with the glove he's got and the arm, and he runs well. Gosh, he's got give you 270. And I think he's going to hit with some. If he catches on, he can hit you maybe 15 home runs in a good year, 20. I think he's a strong kid. So we'll see.
It's interesting. One of the scouts came out to me and said, you know, are Lagares' outfield assists legit, or are they just running on him because he's a rookie? I started to laugh. I said, isn't that around the league yet what this kid can do in the outfield? Gotta be.
Well, we've seen it from the teams the Mets have played.
Yeah.
Nobody's running on him now. They are
right in the middle. There's Steve Balboni. Bye Balboni. One of my favorite people, except when he was in the box and I had to face him.
Great power hitter with the Yankees and the Royals.
Mike Cubbage is in the house too, the former Met.
I played in AAA with Mike Cubbage in 1982, and the only way he could get on the field was to cover his entire body in that atomic ball and then get wrapped in, that real hot stuff that they rub on to keep your muscles loose or whatever.
That must be painful.
It doesn't smell too great either.
8th pitch of the at bat. Lagares lays off. And a full count to 1 with Wilmer Flores waiting on deck. Well, when he first came up, Lagares was putting the first or second pitch in play almost all the time. Worked a lot more deep counts lately, I think much to the satisfaction of his manager. 3-2. And he goes down swinging on the fastball. Second strikeout for Gonzalez. But those are, I think that's what you were talking about, Keith, that, he was a very aggressive hitter early on, and some of that aggression has been taken away, and he's looking for the middle ground.
Well, I always said it's a fine line between reining in a hitter, and he was swinging a lot of bad pitches, so I can understand. But you don't want to take away too much aggressiveness. And they talked today about pitch recognition, and I always could tell when a fastball was coming and when a slider was coming and a curve by the seams and the rotation. And I guess a lot of hitters have a difficulty doing that. And I think I talked with Mike Schmidt one time, and he said he couldn't read the slider spin, and I was stunned as a Hall of Famer.
Because that's why I struck out so much and had such a hard time against right-handers. I had to guess. I was absolutely floored by that.
Wow.
So,
Wish I had known that. Would have helped.
Over Flores fouls it back 1-2.
So if you have no pitch recognition, then you're going to be swinging at bad breaking balls. So I can see trying to make him more patient, but you don't want to take it away. I always, hey, to me, first ball, fastball hitting. And if a guy throws you a get me over curveball, gosh almighty, take a rip at it.
Flores pops one up in foul ground. And LaRoche with plenty of room. Oh, almost let it go.
Willie Mays
Makes the catch at the hip. Style points.
What is
the gold
that?
Glover LaRoche. Green, great voice of the Knicks in the NBA in the stands. That's former Mets groundskeeper Pete Flynn on the right. Mike McCarthy between them, the former head of MSG Network.
Whoa.
That's some real royalty in the house.
There's not too many rows before them to the field.
Gio Gonzalez takes a call strike as we start the third inning. Gio's got a home run this year among his 5 hits, but an .093 lifetime batting average. He's got 2 home runs in his career. And he lifts this one to center field. Lagares playing shallow. 1 away. So that's 7 in a row retired by Carlos Torres after the early bombardment that was led by Denard Span, who will come up now for the second time. Span hit his 6th career leadoff home run in the opening inning, his 4th home run of this season, and with that now has a 20-game hitting streak. It's the longest current streak in the major leagues. Ronnie, when you have a first inning like Torres did, give up 2 straight home runs, compared to say an inning where you walk a couple and you got to work out a bases loaded jam, maybe a run scores, maybe 2, is the back-to-back home run thing almost easier to shake off?
I wouldn't say it's easier to shake off right away.
Slap toward the hole and past Flores, a base hit for Span, and he's 2 for 2.
Anytime you give up home runs to start, Gary, you are at a loss for words. Nice hitting here by Span, gets by Flores, who's a little restricted because of that ankle sprain. But over time, you start to feel better because you mentally you try to play tricks with yourself. Say it's only 2 runs. It doesn't matter how the 2 runs come when you think about it now. But when it happens right away, that third place hitter that came up, all you can think about, do not let this guy hit the ball out of the park somehow, some way.
Well, Zimmerman hit his 21st of the year right after Span hit his in the first inning, and he takes a fastball strike. So Zimmerman all of a sudden is hitting a wealth of home runs in a short period of time. 6 homers in his last 7 games. Funny thing is, in that span, he has only 1 other hit. So he's hitting home runs, but little else right now. The Nats will take that.
You know, when things are different, when Keith and I played, we used to call this the salary drive. But there's no salary drive when you're making the salaries that a guy like Zimmerman is.
And he's in the middle of a 5-year contract. Yeah. Torres ahead 0-2 with Jason Worth on deck, and a half swing on the breaking ball. 1-2. Nobody even asked.
Have you seen what Miguel Cabrera does now? When he knows he's checked the swing, he asks the first base umpire. He does right away. He checks the swing and points to the first base umpire.
Why does he do that?
Because he doesn't want the home plate umpire to call it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
He's thinking he might get a more favorable ruling from the base umpire.
I wouldn't try.
You can do that if you're Miguel Cabrera.
I guess you're right.
He's umpiring, hitting all at the same time.
You can outthink everybody. 30-year-old Carlos Torres making his 6th start for the Mets. Two and 2 to Zimmerman, and he misses wide with the cutter, and now it's 3-2. Jason Worth waiting on deck. And it's too high, ball 4. So after Torres got ahead on Zimmerman 0-2, he loses him to his first walk of the night, and the Nats have 2 men on. And Jason Worth coming up. Worth popped up to the second baseman his first time up.
Worth came into this game hitting .323 and equal opportunity employer. .323 against lefties, .323 against righties.
Around that number at home and the same number on the road. So he's been about as consistent as any player in the game.
He drives this one deep in the gap to left center field, back toward the wall, and it's out of here. The Nats hit their 3rd home run of the game off Carlos Torres. This one a 3-run shot off the bat of Jason Worth. His 22nd home run, and Washington has built a 5-0 lead.
Washington can only be wondering where was all of this for the first 5 months of the season.
That's a helicopter, Ron.
Yep.
Up and in and out inner half, and that was another rocket. Well,
breaking ball hit out to left center. Young closing ground, and he runs it down to retiree and Desmond for the 2nd out. But the Nats starting to get better and better swings against Carlos Torres.
Well, the one thing, and you know, it's hard for me to criticize Carlos. He's been so good, except 2 starts, really, when you think about it, against this same team, the Washington Nationals. But he doesn't have the ability on right-handed hitters to pitch inside. So if you don't pitch inside at all the entire game, it means that you have to be so precise with that cutter on the outside part. Every time you make a mistake, they're sitting on that pitch middle of the plate away.
There's Adam LaRoche with 2 out, and the numbers bear it out. He's got better numbers against left-hand hitters than he does against right-hand hitters. Lefty's hitting 244 against him. Righty's 253.
And there's the shift again against LaRoche. You see Murph on the outfield grass around 25 feet out there.
I just think it's so interesting. Now, this would never happen to you when you played because you hit the ball to all fields. But when you're the type hitter LaRoche, that means for the rest of your career, with no one on, any ball on the ground, no matter how hard you hit it, is going to be out forever.
Yeah, I remember a day when LaRoche would hit the ball to left center field. You know, he's turned into a dead pull hitter, and so there's Rick Shue right there, the new hitting coach. And gosh, I remember him looking differently, but we're all getting older.
I'm sure he says the same about you. In fact, people say that to me every day. Keith looks different this year.
Well,
and then the next question they ask is, he's going to grow his mustache back?
No.
A lot of people talk that Randy Knorr could be the guy, you know, after Davey's gone.
3-2 to LaRoche, and that's inside ball 4. So the second walk of the inning issued by Torres. So a difficult third inning for Carlos Torres. LaRoche aboard with 2 out, and Wilson Ramos coming up. We mentioned Randy Knorr, and he's certainly made some rather definitive statements while the Mets were in Washington, including talking about Bryce Harper and the ball he didn't run out. And it sounded like a bench coach who was making noises about maybe having a bigger role in the future.
Remember that night, Davey had did he have some back problems or something that made him go back in the clubhouse? So Knorr kind of ran the team that night that Bryce Harper did not run it out, and he had some choice words. And from guys that are on that bench, they said he does not mind taking on and needling a little bit the guys that are the 25th man to the guys who are the superstars. There's Rick Shue.
There's Rick Shue right there. Yes, and that's a familiar face. That's the new hitting coach, former Philly infielder. He came up with a lot of fanfare. Third baseman, had Mike Schmidt in front of him. He was kind of be the heir apparent, and it never worked out for him.
It's like being the
heir.
I mean, you don't want that job.
I remember.
You want the guy after the heir.
Exactly. You don't want to be the guy who replaces the guy. You want to be the guy after the guy who replaces the guy.
The only one guy that did it was Ray Knight when the Reds traded Pete Rose to Montreal, and Ray Knight came in and had a terrific rookie season.
1-2 to Ramos, and he goes down swinging on the cutter. So Torres has his 3rd strikeout, but the Nats extend their lead. One big swing of the bat from Jason Worth. Worth having a tremendous second half. His 22nd home run. And the Nats with 3 home runs tonight off Torres lead at 5-0. Constant flow of up-to-the-minute news and opinion, plus fan discussions, player profiles, and exclusive video on Jets blog, featured on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. I'll give you all the info you need. 1-0. Right?
It's amazing that 1-0 and 0-1, how a lot of things are looked at differently.
Makes all the difference in the world.
It does, big time.
I told you they own Tampa Bay.
They owned them for the last 3 seconds.
Well, that's all that matters.
Travis d'Arnaud hits one out to center field. And Denard Span right there. 1 pitch and 1 out for Gio Gonzalez in the home third. Well, it was a very encouraging start.
Yes, it is, and they got a tough one next week.
Here's the problem, though. Here's what Jet fans are thinking today, because you know how people are superstitious. They're thinking it's going to be a great season, but only one thing has to happen. We have to have Kevin Burkhardt broadcast every game this year.
That's right.
That's right.
Kevin did a wonderful job in his Fox football debut yesterday, calling the Jets game. Bouncing ball over the mound, charging is Desmond, and he throws out Carlos Torres for the second out.
I got a few calls this morning, and everybody said that they just thought Kevin did a terrific job.
Fantastic.
So we were doing the game. We couldn't listen.
I missed the game. Was the young quarterback, Geno Smith, was he good? Solid?
He was up and down.
Okay, well, that happens for a young guy.
Completed his first pass. Let's put it this way: he was better than the Tampa Bay quarterback, who wasn't looking on the shotgun snap for the safety that opened the scoring. Here's Eric Young with 2 out and nobody on. Young popped up to the second baseman his first time up. Gonzalez has used just 3 pitches to get the first 2 outs here in the third. And so Young takes a strike.
I didn't think it could happen now, but Colin Kaepernick looked like he was better than last year when he was just fantastic for the Niners. What a game he had.
Young tries to push a bunt, and where did it hit him? It hit him in foul territory. So it's a strike and not an out. 0-2.
And the right call. Hit him in the elbow coming back up.
Yeah, but
his feet were in the box.
Wasn't he in fair territory? Was the elbow in fair territory?
No, his foot was in the box. His back foot was in the box. That's all that matters. Is your foot's got to be in the box. Out of the box, you're out.
Right. I think both feet were in.
Line right to Zimmerman, and that retires the side. So a 6-pitch inning for Gio Gonzalez. Mets are down 1-2-3, and on we go to the 4th. 5-0 Washington. and Davey Johnson managed for the Mets for 7 seasons, who are the only 2 others to manage the Mets for 5 or more years. It's not as easy as you think. Tyler Moore leads off for the Nationals in the 4th inning. Moore flying to center his first time up, and the curveball from Carlos Torres misses, ball 1. Moore, Rendon, and Gonzalez 7, 8, and 9 in the Nationals batting order. And a fly ball out center, pretty deep. Lagares back, warning track near the wall. It's out of here.
Wow.
The 4th home run of the game for the Nationals. This one off the bat of Tyler Moore, his 4th home run of the season, and it's 6-0 Washington. Now, we mentioned Moore had been swinging the bat much better since coming back from the minors 3 weeks ago, and he shows it off there. Going dead central against Carlos Torres.
Well, anytime you leave the ballpark here at Citi Field, it's impressive, but that was a fly ball, too, to dead center. That's 408 out there. Another hanger.
I think the reason we're always surprised is we see what, a half a dozen home runs hit at that part of the ballpark.
This one's in the ballpark off the bat of Anthony Rendon. And Lagares is there to grab it. 1 away. Well, there is no question the Nationals are getting some rather healthy swings tonight against Carlos Torres, and they've hit 4 of them out of the ballpark in the first 4 innings.
It was interesting in yesterday's game, guys. I don't know if you, that Yankee Red Sox series, the Red Sox were killing the Yankees over the first 3 games. Scored 34 runs, and the second pitch of the game, Hiroki Kuroda threw a ball behind Nava. It was almost a sign like it's not happening today. So, you know, sometimes I'm not saying you throw behind guys at all, but
Well, if you throw it behind, it's not at the head. It's fine.
But guys get good swings because they're comfortable. You don't want the hitters to be comfortable. Simple as that.
It's the first time a Met pitcher's allowed 4 home runs in a game this season. In fact, the most home runs that the Mets as a team have allowed in a game is 4. And the last time it happened was also against the Nats back on June 30th in D.C. So a big home run night for Washington tonight. And Gio goes down swinging for the 2nd out. 4 strikeouts for Torres. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Denard Span is already 2 for 2 in this game. Led off the game with a home run, and then went the other way and slapped a single through the hole and scored a run in the 3rd. The first time that Torres has really been roughed up in this park, but the 2nd time that he's been taken to the woodshed by the Nationals.
You know, I guess what I was talking about is that when you get into a game, and it's kind of late now with the 6-0 score, and Danny Worthington can tell you this, if you read that the guys are getting good swings off you, you don't change what you want to do on first pitch. You still want to get ahead, but every single chance you get to waste a pitch, meaning to have a message sent, I throw the first pitch over for a strike. The 2nd pitch has got to crowd him. It's got to make him move his feet. I'm not saying hit anybody. Just make them a little more uncomfortable. So it's not only the next hitter. It could be every hitter you get a chance to, the next 4, 5, 6 hitters, to send a note over there that, you know what, I know you had some good swings. I'm not taking it away. I made some bad pitches. You hit the home runs. But we're not going to be comfortable all day. I'm not watching this all day.
Cutter down and in, went fishing. Nobody can hit that one.
Ryan Zimmerman would be next. Torres ahead on Span 1-2, and the curveball bounces 2-2. So Greg Burke up in the Mets bullpen. His 6th tour of duty with the Mets this year. I mean, when you were on the Norfolk shuttle or the Buffalo shuttle, it was one thing. But when you're on the New York to Las Vegas shuttle, it's a lot of frequent flyer miles. And Span takes it just off the plate. 3-2. Bouncing ball. In comes Murphy to play the easy hop. And Span retired for the first time tonight. But the Nats tack on with their 4th home run of the night. Tyler Moore taking it over the center field fence. His 4th home run of the year. And the Nats have built a 6-0 lead in the 4th at Citi Field. But he's one of only 3 Mets this year who've made it from the beginning of the season to the end on the active roster, along with Dylan G and LaTroy Hawkins. That's the fewest in the majors. The major league average, we thought we'd tell you that, 10.4 players from beginning to end, and the Reds have had 17 guys make it the distance. That leads to our Verizon Fios upgrade with Ron Darling.
Well, the upgrade really is obvious, and that is keep more players on the field. In fact, today we found out that Scott Rice, who had pitched in the most games before he went down with a sports hernia, just got put on the 60-day DL. So did Ike Davis with an oblique strain. So, you know, for the Mets, the upgrade is going to have to be not only get players who can play and play better, but also players that can stay here all season long. It's almost impossible for any good ball club or a club that wants to win games to have that shuffling of players for an entire season.
Verizon Fios, making life more entertaining with America's fastest, most reliable internet. That's powerful.
It really goes back to, you think about it, you really like those teams that have guys that play 155 games plus, pitchers that start 30 games or more. It gives your team stability. I guess that's the word.
Well, next week the Giants are going to be here, and the Giants have had Hunter Pence start every game this year. The last time that a major league outfielder started every game in a season, as Murphy floats one foul, it's been 6 years. Jeff Francoeur was the last to do it in 2007 for the Braves.
Pence has had a good year too. Solid year for them.
They've had such an odd season because they were so reliant on their pitching to win 2 World Series in the last 3 years, and the pitching just hasn't been as good.
It's going to be interesting on the free agent market.
Yes.
Lincecum is a free agent,
Yep.
right?
Zito's going to be gone.
Yep.
His contract's up. They're not going to renew that.
It's going to be around Bumgarner and Kane.
Murphy strikes out. Foul tip on the changeup by Gonzalez, and that's the 3rd strikeout for Gio. Here's your Verizon text poll for tonight. Which team do you think has had the most disappointing season? Is it the Nationals? Is it the Giants? Blue Jays? Angels?
Wow, great
Text
choice.
56812. Let us know what you think.
Right? Each one you could vote for.
The Angels, like the Nats, have put on a rush late in the season. And of course, the Angels are going to fall far short of any playoff aspirations. And it looks like the Nats might fall short as well. Here's Andrew Brown taking outside, ball 1. To Brown. Well, it is time for the return of the conquering hero, Kevin Burkhardt. How are you?
Hail Caesar.
Congratulations on a great job yesterday.
Well, thanks, guys. It's good to be back with you, though. I missed you all in Cleveland. I was thinking about you. It was fun yesterday, though, no question about that. Yeah, I spent some time in the Nationals clubhouse today just talking with Adam LaRoche about this national season. He's one of the leaders in there. And he said, you know, look, I think we finally started to relax and play better now, but odds of us making the playoffs obviously are slim. We need teams to melt down. So when you look at it, though, I think all of us in here are still pretty much in shock over what happened. And there's a lot of ways to dissect it as Brown goes down. So, you know, I think once you start off the way we did, you get a month in, it's one thing. When you get 2 months in, everybody starts to press, and then all of a sudden it's hard to get out of it. You know, I'd almost like to start this season over with this same exact group, have a redo, if you will, because I think the results would be an awful lot different. I'll tell you one thing, though, the biggest challenge of this season for us and a learning tool is learning how to get out of it when you have that type of start. Clearly we didn't do that, and I'll say this, I hope this bad taste remains in our mouths start next year.
Well, I think it's different playing with a bullseye on your back, which they did from the beginning of the season, from the winter, where everyone just picked them to be a shoo-in to go to the World Series.
I think it happened even before that. I think once they made the decision with Strasburg last year and basically said, hey, we're going to be in the playoffs the next 10 years.
Right.
I think that's when the bullseye really was put on their back by their general manager. Ryan Zimmerman catches a foul pop up from Duda. That's 11 in a row retired by Gio Gonzalez. He has 4 hitless innings under his belt and a 6-0 lead. With live updates from Citi Field, plus a look ahead to Thursday's Jets-Pats game with insider info and opinion on Loudmouths, presented by Caesars Atlantic City, tomorrow at 5:30, only on SNY. And did you know that SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers? You can visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Now Greg Burke back for another tour of duty with the Mets. 6th time he's been up and down between the Mets and Vegas.
First time in a game since he's come back from Las Vegas, and Terry Collins hoping he can get 2 or 3 innings out of him.
He'll face Ryan Zimmerman, Jason Worth, and Ian Desmond in the 5th inning. So let's see. Burke has been in 29 games with the Mets this year. And he's been in 31 games in the minor leagues. So this is now his 60th outing of the season. 61st. Zimmerman hit a home run his first time up today into the Party City deck in left center. Then he walked and scored a run in the third. Interesting thing about Burke is if you look at his numbers, he's been no more successful in the minor leagues than he has in the major leagues. On the outside corner, strike 0-2.
Well, he's altered his delivery and mechanics a couple of times, and he's still a work in progress. We know that only now a year and a half ago he changed from a conventional pitcher to a kind of a sidearm guy. Work in progress for Mr. Burke.
Slow ground ball. Turner waits on it and throws out Zimmerman, one away. Let's check in with Kevin.
Well, you mentioned it, Gary, the 6-time trip for Greg Burke here to Vegas. That's what he's done this year. He's been on that shuttle quite a bit. He says his record was 4 different cities, 4 different time zones. He had Salt Lake City, then to San Diego with the Mets, and then, of course, to Minnesota and New York on the end of that crazy road trip the Mets had. He said, look, I'd rather have that, though, than not being here at all. And, Ronnie, I think you hit on it. He admitted, this is still such a new experiment for him. Said, I've tinkered a lot, and I think probably too much because I don't know any better. I'm used to being a conventional pitcher a little bit still, and when things go right, I go with it. When something goes wrong, I feel like I have to change, and that's what I'm hopefully learning this year, is learning how to try and find a way to be consistent with this. Said in AAA, Pedro Feliciano was a huge help to me. I don't even know if he knows it, but we would be out there playing catch, and Feliciano would say, will you just stop thinking about that and just throw the ball? Stop worrying about if you're a submariner or if you're this or if you're that. Just throw the ball. And Greg said, I've been trying to do that. I've been trying to just forget about all that stuff, just go out and pitch. But clearly, there's been a lot of tinkering going on this year. He needs to find a consistent approach for everything that he's doing.
Kevin, what's interesting, and when you'll find your place as a sidearm sinker ball pitcher, and I was throwing a lot of sliders sitting against the right-handed hitters.
Strike 3 call as he gets Worth with a fastball for the second out.
He used to start in a crouch, but now he starts straight up and then will bend kind of with the top of his body to drop that arm. So it's not even really that he's a side armor, because when he lets go of the ball, you see that his arm is dropped down, but he just has changed the angle and still almost is throwing over the top. But with a pitcher like this, you've reached it. When they put the ball in play, it's always on the ground.
There's Ian Desmond, who struck out and flied out. Well, the big issue for Burke, at least early in the season, was figuring out how to get his front foot going in a straight line toward home plate.
It's almost impossible when you're a sidearm thrower, though, because once you drop that body, the weight of your chest and shoulders wants to bring your foot to the third base side. That's the hard part. Looks much better now, though, Gary. When a guy's been in a shuttle like this, you're hoping that this month will be one of great success for him.
Well, he's throwing 8 straight strikes to start the inning. Ahead on Desmond, 0-2 with 2 out.
He's throwing a little better breaking ball, what I've seen. A little tighter slider. It's all about consistency. If you're consistent, you'll stay.
And Desmond just held, and it just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Darno's got to be more forceful when he checks down the first. Bob Davidson called a ball. Darno then pointed the first, but kind of meekly. He's got to really point his finger down there. Give me a call. I'm trying to help my pitcher out here.
2-2. Desmond fouls it off the right side. Carlos Torres went 4 innings, allowed 6 runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and 4 home runs. Last Met pitcher to allow 4 home runs in a game. Johan Santana last year, first start after the no-hitter. Was against the Yankees. There's been only one pitcher in Mets history who's ever given up 5 home runs in a game. And that was the unfortunate Roger Craig.
Oh, wow.
1963.
Ooh, against the team that clobbered him?
Giants.
Oh, wow.
They were.
He's forgiven.
Mays, McCovey, those guys.
Felipe Alou, Willie Kirkland, Cepeda.
Final score 17-4.
Wow.
7th pitch of the at bat coming from Burke to Desmond. And I say the unfortunate Roger Craig because Roger was a very good pitcher pitching for a team that had no chance to win. Mets had others. They had Al Jackson and later Jack Fisher, who was in the same position. Guys who would, they'd lose 20 games because, well, they were playing for teams that lost 110, 112, 120 games every year. 3 of their first 5 years the Mets lost 110 or more.
When was the last year Casey managed?
65. He gave way to Wes Westrom in the middle of the year. Here's 2-2. And another bouncer foul, so Desmond hanging tough. That goes to our trivia question, which we've not yet given the answer to.
But we can eliminate
so
one.
Now you know Casey's not the guy.
I was being very Sherlock Holmes there.
What you were doing?
Yes.
Looking for clues.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Well, like Colonel Mustard at the observatory.
Robert Palmer, one of those.
Looking for clues, yeah. 9th pitch of the at bat coming from Burke. Misses outside, a full count to Desmond. Adam LaRoche would be next. (3-2) and he walked him. So after getting ahead 0-2 on Desmond, Burke loses him to a walk. A 2-out walk in the 5th. Well, let's go to that AT&T trivia question. The other 2 managers besides Davey Johnson to manage the Mets for 5 or more years. Bobby Valentine is 1. Joe Torre.
Wow. I did not know Joe was here 5 years. It was 5 lousy years.
Well, it wasn't 5 full seasons, but
yeah.
Joe caught the Mets at their nadir.
Said 5+ seasons. The trivia question.
Well, he managed in 5 or more seasons, but he took over the job in the middle of '77.
And that wouldn't count for me. That's wrong. Trivia question is 5 or more years, right? 5+
So
years,
you're
5
saying,
or more.
You're saying like
5 full or more.
I
agree.
Time.
Yes,
I agree. 5 full seasons. So who followed Joe Torre when Joe left?
After Joe was George Bamberger.
That's right. Then George quit, and Frank Howard took over. That's when I came in.
The year in '83.
That's right.
George said, "I'm going fishing."
But you remember who Joe Torre replaced?
Frazier.
Joe Frazier. That's right. Smoking Joe.
Remember who replaced George Bamberger?
Hondo.
Yeah.
Finished out the '83 season. Davey took over in '84.
George Frazier played against my father in the minor leagues, and boy, he was a hot-tempered guy. He'd get frustrated with those bad Met teams. And then I didn't realize on the same time one of the original Mets was it Dave Marshall? Was it Dave Marshall?
Dave Marshall managed the Cubs.
Cubs.
Right.
I had
Jim Marshall.
Jim Marshall. I had no idea he was an original Met the whole time that he managed the Cubs for around 3 years.
Dave Marshall played for the Mets later in the '70s.
Right, also the Giants. That's where I got confused.
1-2 to LaRoche, and a tapper hits him in the batter's box. Wes Western replaced Casey Stengel as manager in 1965 when Casey had the bad hip. And Western used to refer to close games as cliff dwellers.
Cliff dwellers.
That was his contribution to the vernacular.
Not quite a malapropism, but appropriate.
Very nice. Nice formulation. Roche pulls one foul.
Did Whitey Lockman ever put on a Met uniform as a coach?
Yeah,
I think he might have been brought over by Western because they were Giants.
I have a vague recollection of that. I wonder who has the longest tenure as a Met coach. It would have been Eddie Yost.
That's right. Third base coach for years.
Of course, Joe Pignatano was the bullpen coach under several Mets managers.
Eddie Yost wore his uniform impeccably. He was always clean shaven, had a gray hair, and his hair was just beautifully manicured. He was good looking in that uniform.
It's a great baseball axiom, right? Looks good in the uniform. Usually means you can't play, but Eddie Yost could play.
Yep.
He was the walking man.
Yes, he was.
Before everybody was talking about on-base percentage in baseball, Eddie Yost was the on-base percentage king.
He played with the Senators, correct?
And he went to NYU, grew up in Queens, to John Adams High School. Two to LaRoche, and it's low and inside. So Burke having trouble putting away the third out here in the fifth. Had 2 out and nobody on, an 0-2 count to Desmond. Lost him to a walk, and now he's 3-2 on LaRoche. Took him 10 pitches to Desmond. This will be his 9th pitch coming to LaRoche. Desmond gets set to run. And LaRoche lays off, and that's back-to-back 2-out walks. So Burke making things tough on himself. Now 2 out and 2 on for Wilson Ramos. Eddie Yost led the American League in walks 6 times. He was a lifetime .254 hitter.
What was his on-base percentage?
.394. Wow, for his career.
What was his high season on-base percentage?
.435.
What was his lifetime BA?
.254. And in those days, you know, that's what everybody looked at. But if you go back and look at Eddie Yost's career, it was phenomenal in that he had that incredible on-base percentage every year. He walked as many as 151 times in a season.
Did he ever? How many times did he score 100 runs?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 115 was the most.
How long was his career?
18 years. Played with the Senators, and then later with the Tigers, and then I think he was an original Los Angeles Angel in 1961.
So he played in the late 40s, 50s?
Yeah, started out 44. 62 was his last year. And then became a coach. And I think he was with Gil in Washington, and he came to the Mets with Gil Hodges. Desmond and LaRoche are aboard with 2 down. Ramos has fly to center and struck out tonight. Tyler Moore waits on deck. Dave Fried has investigated. He says Whitey Lockman not a Mets coach.
Okay.
Rogers Hornsby was a Mets coach.
Yes. So Chicago, Gary Wood is shutting out Cincinnati 2-0 in the bottom of the 5th in Cincinnati. That's a big game.
Ramos hits one deep to left center. Lagares back, looking up, and it's out of here. The Nats have their 5th home run of the night. Wilson Ramos, the Met killer, does it again. A 3-run homer. It's now 9-0 Washington. 5 home runs in 5 innings for the Nats tonight.
Well, that ball is just jumping off their bats.
For Wilson Ramos, his 6th home run against the Mets in just 80 career at-bats. His 12th of the season.
Let go with one hand.
What'd you say, Gary? The 17th straight game started by Wilson Ramos?
He doesn't look tired, does he?
No.
Of course, he missed 2 months with a hamstring injury, so he should be fresher than most players this time of year. Nonetheless.
Well, he knew it. He knew it was hit well. You're just kind of hoping it's the big ballpark. Maybe it'll stay in.
Not as big as it used to be. That used to be a double.
Not tonight, anyway. Oh, that's right. I've forgotten that that would have been a double.
Would have been just at the bottom of the Great Wall of Flushing if they had not moved the fences in. Party City deck in front of that big black wall that used to be the outfield fence. Well, Span and Zimmerman back to back to open the game. Worth a 3-run shot in the 3rd. Moore a leadoff home run in the 4th, and now Ramos a 3-run shot as David Artsma is the next man up in the Mets bullpen. Two and 2 to Moore. Inning can begin so innocently. 2 out, nobody on, an 0-2 count.
Walks though.
No, there's no time clock.
First time this year the Mets have given up 5 home runs in a game. Two. Loop down the left field line. That's going to fall for another base hit. It goes to the corner. Moore into second base with a 2-out double. And so Burke's inability to put this inning to bed continues to back up on him.
You know, try to put this to describe it to you why this is happening. The pitch to Ramos is down and away. This pitch to Moore is a slider that he kind of leans over the plate and flips into left field. It's still the result of 5 innings of the right-handed hitters are allowed to lean over the plate.
You're absolutely right. They're not. There's no fear of being pitched inside or given a little chin.
Now Anthony Rendon is grounded out and flied out 0 for 2. Moore at second with 2 down. 3 runs home of the inning. Not pretty. 7 hits, 5 of them home runs. Burke has already thrown 36 pitches in this inning. Came on in long relief after Carlos Torres got torched for 6 runs in 4 innings, and he's gotten no better. Rendon swinging badly at a breaking ball, 1-2. The last time the Mets gave up 5 home runs in a game, it's a game that Ronnie, you'll remember in Toronto last year.
Yes, I do.
John Neese gave up 4 of the 5 to the Blue Jays.
Their catcher,
Aaron Sebia.
I think Jan Gomes had one of them.
For the Nats, it's the 3rd time this year they've hit 5 home runs in a game. Halfway to the major league record, which is 10. There's Matt Harvey. Should be later this week that Matt goes down to see Dr. Andrews in Birmingham to get a second opinion on his elbow. And some more definition as to whether he'll have the Tommy John surgery. There's strike 3 called. The inning finally comes to an end, but not before the Nats tack on 3 on one big swing in the bat by Wilson Ramos. A 3-run homer to make it 9-0 halfway through. Well, things starting to empty out across the way, where Rafael Nadal just won the men's singles title over Djokovic.
I don't know how you can beat him. He's like a middle linebacker playing tennis. Amazingly strong.
4 sets.
I am told they had a 54-shot rally in the course of that game. You think they were playing on clay?
We might have a 54-pitch inning at some point if we don't watch out.
Justin Turner leads off the home 5th inning against Gio Gonzalez, who has a 9-0 lead and has yet to allow a hit. The only Met base runner was Daniel Murphy. He walked with 1 out in the 1st, and Gio has been cruising ever since, retiring 11 in a row. Turner takes a strike. Justin flying to center his first time up. Juan Lagares and Wilmer Flores to follow. Turner lifts one to right center. You know, to take it. It's going to be Span. 1 out. 5th inning recap presented by Pepsi. 5 Nationals home runs. Need we say more? Carlos Torres, another rough night. His 2nd start against the Nationals. 2nd time they've spanked him. Meanwhile, Gio Gonzalez, no hits through 4 1/3.
These were those games, Gary. I never forget. Whitey Herzog. We were getting shellacked one game like this, and Whitey was always a stickler on getting the runners over. A runner, if you didn't advance the runner on second base to third with less than with 1 out or less, with 1 out, less than 1 out, that was he'd get upset. So I remember we're like the 5th inning or 4th inning, we're getting blasted, and he just walked down the dugout and said, "Go to swinging, guys. No taking. You get a pitch to hit, go hit. Don't worry about getting a runner over." I loved it. Wow. And it really makes sense, because a pitcher might, you know, he's got a 9-run lead, groove one in there. The only way you're going to get back a 9-run game, which is rare, is to belt your way back into it. The rules were off in a game like this.
Well, it has happened in Major League history. The team has come from this far.
Certainly.
Now. It's never happened in Mets history. Their largest deficit overcome is 8 runs. Never come from more than 8 down to win. So this could be an historic night. Desmond handles the liner from Lagares. That's the first really hard hit ball against Gio Gonzalez tonight.
All played perfectly. That was a bullet. Well, nice backhand. This is the big leagues. You make that play.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Wilmer Flores, who fouled out to first base in the second inning. Wilmer playing for only the 3rd time in the last 9 games. He's been given frequent rest to try and make that ankle a little bit better, but it just doesn't seem like it's getting a whole lot better. And he's really been struggling at the plate, maybe because of the ankle and maybe just because he's struggling at the plate.
Nope. I was telling Gary, Ron, that some guys are slow healers. I mean, this is a long healing process for Flores.
Speaking of healing processes, David Wright in the house today. There's a strikeout for Gio Gonzalez, his 5th of the night, and he is rolling 5 hitless innings. He's retired the last 14 batters. 9-0 Washington going to the 6th.
And 46 p.m. 2-2 to Harvey Keene. 1 strike away. Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. A perfect game.
Infinity bringing us this date in baseball history. September 9th, 1965. Sandy Koufax's perfect game against the Cubs. His 4th no-hitter in 4 seasons. Unbelievable.
You know, what's amazing about the call. Well, Flores at second base.
Josh Satin comes in to play 3rd. David Aardsma will pitch as we go to the 6th.
See Aardsma's numbers. It's been a real struggle for Aardsma the last, 12, 15 appearances. Almost the tipping point is when he was inserted as the closer in that one game. And after that, it's been kind of a struggle with his control.
Gio Gonzalez leads off the 6th. Flied out and struck out 0 for 2 tonight. And Gio bounces one down to 3rd. Satin just into the game, handles it. 1 pitch and 1 out for Aardsma in the 6th. Well, Sean Hand, who was just called up while the Mets were in Cleveland, getting up and getting ready for his first appearance as a Met. Mets have just been trying to bring in some bodies to help out in that beleaguered bullpen. Mets haven't had a starter go more than 6 innings in the last 4 games now. And so that's put more pressure on the bullpen. The Nats, like the Indians, who we just saw, have a full complement of call-ups. Span lines one over the glove of Flores into right field for his 3rd hit of the game. 1 out and 1 on. Let's check in with the studio. Gary Apple standing by with a game break presented by your local Tri-Honda dealer. So as Drupal Cabrera and Yan Gomes with home runs for the Indians. They are 2 games back of Tampa Bay and a game and a half in front of the Royals, who continue to be a factor going into that series. Here's Ryan Zimmerman, who takes a strike. Zimmerman is homered, walked, and grounded out. Well, it's a shame when you have interleague games that affect pennant races, but here we are. Both the Pirates and the Rangers, a very important game for them. Texas a game and a half behind in the AL West. Pittsburgh a game and a half behind in the NL Central. And it's one of the really poor consequences of the decision to go to odd numbered leagues that you have to have interleague games right down to the final days of the season. Just really kind of makes a mockery of the pennant race, especially when you get a team like the Pirates. They don't have a designated hitter, and they're going to Texas to play a series where they have to use a DH. Zimmerman lifts one to left, and Young comes over toward the line to put it away for the 2nd out.
Pittsburgh got Starling Marte back.
I think they activated him, but I don't know if he's playing.
He's the difference maker for me in them, because they have struggled ever since they got their 81st.
They've lost their last 4, and they suffered an injury last night, which might hurt them on the pitching side. Charlie Morton had to leave the game in the 2nd inning with a foot injury. Don't know how serious that is. Here's Worth, who had a 3-run homer in the 3rd, 1 for 3 on the night. And a slider off the plate, 2-0. Pirates are using Garrett Jones as their DH tonight in Texas, but no Starling Marte in the lineup, so he's not ready to play yet. Barnesman behind 2-0, and Worth takes inside. By the way, we were asking before who the longest serving Met coaches were. It's a tie. Rube Walker, longtime pitching coach, Joe Pignatano, bullpen coach, each had 14 seasons as a Met coach. Both came in with Gil Hodges in 1968. So that settles that. And Worth takes a strike 3-2.
Joe Pignatano, the coach who, and I know Joe, but he wasn't a coach when I was here, started the vegetable garden in the right field bullpen.
He did.
I remember that Rube Walker was a chain smoker.
Joe Pignatano's other claim to fame is that his last at bat in the major leagues, he hit into a triple play. Perfectly Metsian fashion.
Where's Joe from originally? Brooklyn? I know he lives in Staten Island now.
Not sure where he grew up exactly. I'd say Brooklyn's a pretty good guess.
Yeah. Great guy.
3-2, and Worth fouls off another one. Gives us time to tell you that Joe indeed came out of Westinghouse High School in Brooklyn. Made his major league debut with the Dodgers in 1957. Played for the Mets in 1962.
I don't know if he's still playing, but he used to play golf every single day, and he asked me to join him once. And I said, Joe, okay, what's the tee time? He said 6:10. I said 6:10 in the morning? Like, yeah, they play every day. At that time, they were playing at 6:10, first tee time out.
That means they're going to bed early.
Go bed early, and the round's done early.
That's why you got, the early bird specials.
6:10's a little over the top.
8th pitch of the at bat coming from Barnesman to Worth. Worth getting his money's worth. We've seen some long at bats for the Nats tonight. Span putting on a workout, running on the 3-2 pitches. Ian Desmond would be next. 5 different Nats have gone deep. Span, Zimmerman, Worth, Moore, and Ramos. That gets him only halfway to the big league record. 10 home runs. Bouncing ball, foul. Nice grab by Satin, but it was outside the line.
The Red Sox just hit 8 within the last week.
The record belongs to Toronto. They hit 10 home runs in a game against the Orioles in 1987. That was the game that Cal Ripken Sr. took Cal Ripken Jr. out of the middle of the game, because up until that time Cal Jr. had the inning streak going.
That's right.
He still had the consecutive game streak, which went on for another 8 years, but his inning streak ended in that 10 home run game for the Blue Jays.
Jeez. It's a heck of an at bat here. Worth. Span's getting that. Doesn't have to do any sprints tomorrow, that's for sure.
It's oxygen.
He's not even winded. He's in shape. He's very thankful it's not a hot day in Cincinnati in August.
12th pitch of the at bat coming to Worth. And he dunks this one into shallow center, and it falls for a base hit. Span goes first to third. Worth the wait for Worth. Didn't hit it hard, but laid it into the outfield grass for his second hit of the night.
Slider, he just picks it up off the ground, doesn't even follow through, almost like a hockey swing there.
Well, he's chasing a batting title, so every hit gets him closer. You're right, that's less than a foot off the ground.
Well, if he hadn't given up the hit, he would have walked him, so you can't feel bad, right, if you're a pitcher?
You can feel bad because the guy went first to third.
Here's Desmond, who's 0 for 2 in a walk. 9 hits now for the Nationals. Desmond has 20 home runs this season after 25 last year. And he's thinking about a 3-run homer. The Nats have already hit 2 of those tonight.
Yeah, that's a big rip right there on that high fastball.
Span at third, Worth at first with 2 out. What's a manager to do? Down 9-0 in the 6th.
Well, one was take out your guy who plays every inning of every day, Daniel Murphy. I think, you know, in this game you have Sean Henhoff. He's going to come in and pitch. You're going to take a look at him.
A chance to look at Flores at second base.
Yeah.
Been reluctant to do that because of the ankle, but down 9-0. What the heck?
You know, Eric Young has played every day. He might be a guy that you replace with an outfielder.
The game you can bring Francisco in.
No, he's not going to use him today.
No,
He's
back,
not.
no back to back.
Not yet.
What did he throw? Throw 4 pitches the other day? 5?
Seven. Now, Terry said before Francisco got here he wasn't going to pitch him back to back in deference to the elbow issues that he's coming back from. Well, Desmond out on strikes, so Arthur puts an end to the inning. Middle of the 6th now. Gio Gonzalez back to the mound with a no-hitter intact. lately against Jordan Zimmerman tomorrow. Zach Wheeler Wednesday night against Dan Herron. Aaron Harang makes his Mets debut Thursday against Tanner Roark, who did a great job filling in. Well, actually took the place of Ross Ollendorf for his last start. And Roark will start on Thursday. Here's Travis d'Arnaud. Mets looking for their first hit against Gio Gonzalez. He falls behind on d'Arnaud 2-0. Travis flying to center his first time up. 0 for his last 15.
It's been a struggle for Travis. He's just starting to start too early. He's pressing. You can see a little off balance with that. He's just too quick. And I know he's very much aware of what they average up on the scoreboard. When you're young, it's murder.
Even if you're old, 140 is hard to look at.
Yes, but that's true.
Josh Satin hitting 9th in the order on deck, and then Eric Young for the Mets in the 6th against Gonzalez. And a full count to d'Arnaud. Mets have had one base runner. That was Daniel Murphy, who walked with 1 out in the first. 14 in a row retired by Gio Gonzalez since then. He's come back from 3-0 to get to 3-2 on d'Arnaud. He struck out 5 tonight. And make it 6 as against d'Arnaud for the first out in the home 6th.
Well, flying out too quick, and he is befuddled right now, Mr. d'Arnaud.
So now Satin gets his first at bat. Josh DH'd yesterday in Cleveland, went 1 for 5. Well, this is the farthest that Gio Gonzalez has ever gone into a game with a no-hit bid intact, 5 1/3. Twice he's gone 5 innings before. Satin rockets one to center, but right there is Span for the second out. So that's 16 in a row retired by Gonzalez. It's been 20 years since a pitcher no-hit the Mets. Darryl Kyle was the last to do it. That was in September of 1993 at the Astrodome.
Gonzalez is perfectly suited for this ballpark. He is a high fastball pitcher that gets a lot of fly balls.
Zach Lutz on deck to bat for the pitcher if Young keeps the inning going. Eric has popped to second and lined out to third, 0 for 2. Attacks that first pitch fastball. Gio throwing hard at 93. Sean Henn getting ready to pitch in the 7th inning after Ardsma handled the 6th. Curveball from Gio in the dirt, 1-1. Gio Gonzalez, first round draft pick by the White Sox in 2004. On to Oakland, where he established himself, and now a mainstay with the Nationals after a 21 win season last year. And is ahead on Young, 1-2.
Oakland's made good use, though. They traded for Tommy Malone.
They got
a dependable starter for them.
Got Brad Peacock in that deal too. Who they turned around and dealt to Houston, right?
I think Houston.
1-2 to Young. And the breaking ball got him. Gio Gonzalez with his 7th strikeout. He's got a no-hitter through 6 innings at Citi Field. 9-0 Nats as we go to the 7th. SNY for behind-the-scenes access, player reactions, and a complete game breakdown with exclusive on-field interviews and Rex Ryan's post-game comments on Jets Post-Game Live, presented by Toyota, Thursday immediately after the Jets-Pats game, only on SNY. 32-year-old Sean Henn will make his Mets debut, his first big league appearance since 2009.
To go along with that fine ERA, had a couple of saves, played for the Yankees, Padres, Twins, Orioles.
He's bounced around.
Sean Henn from Aledo, Texas, will make his Mets debut facing Adam LaRoche. As we go to the 7th, 2 big stories in this game: 5 home runs for the Nationals and 6 no-hit innings for Gio Gonzalez. LaRoche has walked twice, otherwise 0 for 1. First pitch swinging, fouls it off. Carlos Torres went the first 4 innings and gave up the first 4 of those 5 home runs. He allowed 6 runs and 5 hits. Greg Burke worked an inning, gave up 3 runs and 2 hits. David Ardsma worked around a couple of hits in the 6th. And now it's Henn. Ball and a strike to LaRoche with Wilson Ramos on deck, and then Tyler Moore for the Nationals in the 7th. LaRoche pulling off the slider, and it's 1-2.
Late breaking slider there from Mr. Henn.
In that game in Cleveland, Alex Gordon has just hit a home run for Kansas City. It's now the Indians 4, the Royals 3 in the 8th. You know, Ronnie, the crowds in Cleveland have been very small.
Yeah.
But they were very vocal throughout that series.
Really?
I mean, the fans who were there, they had 13,000 yesterday, but it could have been 30,000. With the enthusiasm that they're showing for that team. 2-2. And that just missed. Full count to LaRoche. I mean, think about the turnaround for that team. They lost 94 games last year.
Well, they've fallen in love with that team. They play hard. They've made theirs a year, though, this year on sub-500 teams. They're 42-20. That's the reason they're still in it.
Got to kick them when they're down. And there's ball 4, so Henn walks LaRoche. 3rd time LaRoche has walked tonight. Well, here's Wilson Ramos, who has certainly burnished his credentials as a Met killer. 3-run homer his last time up in the 5th. Let's check in with Kevin.
I was asking Wilson today, Gary, if he had any idea of the damage he does against the Mets. He said, you know, I didn't until the last time the Mets were in Washington, because I was watching film before the game, and only on the film when I heard, you know, the announcers say something about my stats, and they put the stats up, and I said, huh, that was the game he went out and hit a grand slam against Carlos Torres in D.C. Obviously, he's kept it up today. I said, there's got to be some theory. Well, apparently his brother did play in the Mets organization in the Dominican Mets. Nathaniel Ramos was in the Mets organization as of last year anyway. So he says maybe there's some karma with him. I'm not sure, but whatever he's doing, it's working.
Huh. Who would have thought?
I wonder if he's modeled his batting style after one of the great Venezuelan hitters of all time, and Andres Galarraga.
With that wide open stance. Galarraga was so enormous. He looked so menacing with that open stance and then stepping in.
Looks like he had a soft body, and he was smooth at first base. He was a heck of a glove.
Great athlete.
Yep. And they called him the Cat.
Yep.
Big Cat.
And a wonderful man.
Always had a smile on his face.
Yep. Gentleman.
He was in spring training with the Mets one year. He retired with 399 home runs, and he wanted to make the team so he could get to 400, and it just didn't happen for him. That's what Ramos has done this year against the Mets, hitting well over 400 for his career against New York, and keeping the ball down. The Orioles just added a run in the 7th and lead CC Sabathia and the Yankees 4-1. Saving grace for the Yankees after losing 3 out of 4 to the Red Sox. They lost no ground. because Tampa Bay has struggled so mightily, although they won yesterday. Double play ball right at Turner. And the turn by Flores for the easy 6-4-3 double play. 2 out and nobody on. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Tyler Moore, who has 2 extra base hits tonight, his 4th home run of the year, leading off the 4th, and then a 2-out double in the 5th.
This is Steven Strasburg, and an interesting game yesterday, Gary.
Well, he gave up 4 runs in 6 innings, and 2 of the 4 runs came in on balks. It's the last time that happened.
Well, he said he was going to try something different. He was going to pitch with runners on 2nd and 3rd from the windup instead of pitching from the stretch. He'd always pitch from the stretch, and both times he was caught with thinking that the first sign was going to be the sign, and it wasn't, because you have to go through the 3 or 4 signs that Ramos was going through.
So he started his windup, then stopped and was called for the balk, and the same thing happened again. And then he went back to pitching from the stretch. The Mets have missed Strasburg more often than not this year. He's only faced the Mets once, that matchup with Matt Harvey here earlier this season. And again, a 4-game series here where the Mets will not face Strasburg. 2-2 to Moore. But Strasburg has pitched well. The runs have been hard to come by for him. Of course, the Nats weren't scoring for anybody for much of the season. Moore pulls one down the line, foul.
When I look at Sean Henn on the mound, he reminds me of the guy in the late 80s that was traded for the Mets, early 90s, for Frank Viola, David West.
David West, sure.
That's a little bit like David West on the mound.
David West was a big part of the Twins World Series team in 1991 as a middle reliever. In fact, the Twins also got Rick Aguilera in that trade, who was their closer.
That's right.
For that 91 World Series team.
What a career Aggie had.
Tough night for the Reds so far. They begin the day a game and a half behind the Cardinals in the Central, having won their last 4, including a sweep of the Dodgers over the weekend.
Well, remember, Travis Wood started his career with Cincinnati. We saw Matsuzaki yesterday against Cleveland. Sometimes you ramp it up a little when you're facing a team that traded you or didn't bring you to the big leagues, or whatever reason, to have a chip on your shoulder.
Well, Aggie always complained about his elbow. Goes over to Minnesota. They take out the chips, and he has a great career with Minnesota.
And the thing about Aguilera is the Mets had just tried him out of the bullpen before they made the trade. So they got a little bit of a look at him as a reliever, but he didn't really get a full-time chance to relieve until he got to Minnesota.
Well, I think that was the key, is that Aggie, it was hard for him to take the beating of the 6, 7, 8 innings, but the 1 inning every day, every other day, or every day worked out perfectly for him.
Here's ball 4, second walk of the inning issued by Henn, and the 6th tonight by Met pitching.
Rick Aguilera had a fastball, really good slider that he would really put a lot of stress on his elbow, and a split finger, which did not. Once he went into the bullpen for Minnesota, he became a 2-pitch pitcher, fastball and split finger.
Yep.
And that saved his elbow.
Here's Anthony Rendon, who's 0 for 3 tonight.
We had 3 Spaniards on that team. There were the 3 Caballeros, myself, Aggie, and
Self-proclaimed, by the way.
all Españols.
Caballeros, huh?
Sid, Dave, was Portuguese.
Right, Sid Fernandez?
Yeah, it was Portuguese.
And Maori, which is very rare.
Right.
Drive to left. Young comes on, diving to make the catch. Well, we talked about Eric Young in the Open tonight doing everything possible to try and make himself a fixture next year. How about this in a 9-0 game?
Well, beautiful catch. We've seen him do it all year long. He gets a good jump. He comes to play. He's a hustler.
7th inning stretch time. Gio Gonzalez working on a no-hitter. Home 7th inning. Zach Lutz, the pinch hitter. First pitch swinging and a drive that hits the line. It's a fair ball, and the Mets have their first hit of the game off Gio Gonzalez. Adam LaRoche making the dive, looking at the spot. The first base umpire, John Hirschbeck, confirming that it hit the line. LaRoche is not sure at all. We'll take a look.
Fastball away, goes right with it. Oh, yep, I think it's fair. We'll get a better look. I know we will. Nope,
Right
good call. Yes, sir. Nice effort by LaRoche. Nice hitting by Mr. Lutz.
So Lutz swinging at the first pitch of the 7th inning for the Mets. As the Mets' first hit of the game after Gio Gonzalez carried a no-hitter through 6, the longest no-hit bid by a Met opponent this year. So now Andrew Brown is 0 for 2, grounded out and struck out, and he fouls it back.
That's how left-handers with no hitters usually get the benefit of the call down the line.
In this ballpark,
Wow, there's a reaction.
Hoping. Yeah.
There it went.
What's interesting about that play, though, when you think about it, Gonzalez was umpiring. If LaRoche would have come up with the play, he would have been covering first.
And he would have had it hit anyway. That's a good point. Guess he was hoping he caught it in the air. 0-2 to Andrew Brown. And the backdoor curveball got him. 8 strikeouts for Gio Gonzalez, 1 out of the 7th.
This is just big league pitching here. It didn't take too long. Backdoor curveball. He's got a good one tonight. That might be the best curveball I've seen him have.
He's got a little downward tilt to it. Nice. You're right, Ronnie.
1 out and 1 on for Duda, who struck out and fouled out. 0 for his last 9. And this one's popped up. And a shallow left for Moore. And there are 2 out. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Now Justin Turner's been up twice and flying to center both times. Tim Burdick getting ready to pitch in the 8th for New York. After Lutz pinch hit for Sean Henn. So the Mets have had 2 base runners tonight. They both come from the number 2 spot in the batting order. Murphy walked in the first, and then Gio Gonzalez retired 17 in a row. Murphy had been taken out of the game with the Mets far behind. The pitcher's spot went in the 2-hole, and Lutz, as a pinch hitter, got the lone hit so far against Gio Gonzalez. And Turner bounces one down to Zimmerman. He'll go the short way. Force play ends the inning. 7 in the books now at Citi Field. The Nats cruising 9-0. SNY is brought to you by Geico, by AT NYN, Rethink Possible, and by Audi, Truth in Engineering. Zach Lutz, who pinch hit, got the only hit for the Mets thus far, stays in the game at first base. And Tim Burdick will pitch and hit number 4 in the batting order as Duda comes on.
Just a couple of innings of work for Tim Burdick, who is working himself back into shape here in the major leagues.
Had a very good outing in Atlanta, his first outing after major shoulder surgery, and then a not so good outing Friday night in Cleveland when he gave up the grand slam to Nick Swisher. Gio Gonzalez will get his 4th turn at bat, working on a 1-hit shutout now through 7. Gonzalez 0 for 3. Did you see Gio's reaction as he walked off the mound at the end of that 7th inning? He looked over at John Hirschbeck, the first base ump, as if to say, "Are you sure that was fair?"
To me, it almost looked like he was saying, "Do you realize I'm throwing a no-hitter here?"
Darn. Slow ground ball, and Satin makes the play on Gio Gonzalez for the first out.
Now he's talking to Hirschbeck again.
Oh, they're having fun.
He didn't expect to be called safe, did he? Compensation. Hey, he wants to get back in the dugout anyway. Doesn't need to run the base. He's got a 9-run lead. Here's Denard Span, who gave the Nats the early lead on the 6th pitch of the game from Carlos Torres. He hit one into the Mo zone in right field for his 4th home run of the year. Ryan Zimmerman followed with another home run, and the Nats were off and running. The game in Texas has gone to the bottom of the 6th. That's Garrett Cole for the Pirates, Yu Darvish for the Rangers. No score in the bottom of the 6th.
Darvish has had a couple tough starts, so back on top of his game.
Game of utmost importance for both teams.
The former #1 pick, Garrett Cole. He's done a nice job.
Tim Burdack at 39 years of age, coming back from capsule surgery, the same surgery that Johan Santana's now had twice, same one that Chris Young had. And the velocity clearly not what it once was, but hoping to make enough of an impression to get a job next year as a serviceable left-hander. He was a heavily used left-hander for the last 2 years for the Mets.
Really took the place of Pedro Feliciano.
And he strikes out Span for the second out. So 2 out of the inning. Let's check in with Gary Apple in the studio for another game break presented by Nissan. That would be a big loss for the Reds. Sometimes those things happen in a pennant race. You know, you go, you sweep the Dodgers, and then you welcome in the lowly Cubs, and sometimes those teams at the bottom can play spoiler on you.
How about Jay Bruce hitting 2 home runs off Clayton Kershaw yesterday?
Only the 3rd player ever to do that, and 2 of the 3 were left-hand hitters. Adam Dunn was one of the others. Zimmerman takes inside a ball and a strike. By the way, Travis Wood went 7 in that game for the Cubs. Pedro Strop pitched the 8th.
Almost a little Scroogey there by Burdack. Notice that.
Scott Atchison up in the Mets bullpen. Two and 1 to Zimmerman, and he misses away. 3-1. Zimmerman with a home run in the first inning after hitting 2 on Saturday and 1 yesterday, so that's 4 in his last 3 games. 21 for the year now. He's got 21. Worth has 22. Desmond has 20 home runs, and that's ball 4. 7 walks by Met pitching tonight.
It's way too many.
Your Cadillac drive around the majors. We mentioned the Indians, Cabrera, Gomes, and Santana all with home runs, leading the Royals 4-3 as they go to the 9th. Pirates and Rangers now in the 7th. Darvish and Cole matching zeros, and Evan Gattis a 2-run double. If the Braves win and the Mets lose tonight, the Mets are eliminated from contention in the National League East. Scott Atchison will come on to replace Tim Burdack. The call to the bullpen is brought to you by Verizon Wireless. We'll be right back to Citi Field. of the season, and hundreds of dogs were out on the field before the game. Oh, it's a cute little bulldog. Very nice. Jason Worth takes a strike from Scott Atchison.
Well, trying to have a scoreless out here, giving up runs in his last 3 appearances.
And Zach Walters pinch running for Zimmerman at first. Ball strike to Worth. It was Walters who had that squib hit off Jose Fernandez to break up his no-hit bid the other day in Miami. Love the pink scarf.
Fernandez Rookie of the Year?
I think so.
Gotta be, right?
Yeah. I mean, Puig has been terrific, but Fernandez has been doing it all year.
All year. And he's been great all year.
How about that grooming?
Look at that. Is that a chow?
Yes, it is.
It's a lot of brushing.
That dog is very comfortable in the winter. I have to say Worth is one of the more unusual good hitters you'll see. He has doesn't have a classic stroke, or swing doesn't always look on time, but I'll tell you, he gets the job done.
He's got a very stiff follow through.
Now the 1-2, and he swings and misses a pitch in the dirt and abandons his effort to go to first, so he's called out. No tag necessary. Worth is struck out. Atchison gets the out he needs. 9-0 Nats in the 8th. Base. Corey Brown plays left field. Gio Gonzalez starts the home 8th inning by throwing a fastball strike to Juan Lagares. Lagares is struck out and hit a liner to short. Mets have had only 2 base runners all night long. A walk to Murphy in the first. A leadoff single by Lutz as a pinch hitter in the 7th, and that's been it against Gio Gonzalez, who threw 7 scoreless against the Mets on 3 hits the last time he faced them. Lagares with the ground ball. Desmond the overhand throw. 1 out in the home 8th. Gonzalez Herman is up in the Mets bullpen. There's our Verizon Text Bowl. Which team the most disappointing this year? And a plurality of 44% says the Dickey Reyes Blue Jays.
What would you have voted for, Ron? It's a tough call.
I'm going to go with the Angels only because I just think they have the star power.
Yep.
And they're also a disappointment in the sense, where are they going? With the big long-term contracts and older players, and their first baseman, DH, cannot walk right now.
Well, there's every chance that Josh Hamilton will be able to turn things around next year and have a good year. But Pujols, that's a big problem. There's 8 more years on that contract.
I always questioned Pujols' age. I would have voted for the Angels too, Ron. I've been in your camp. Gare?
I would go with that too.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the Nats have been a disappointment in terms of they were expected to win the World Series, but they're over 500. The Angels were expected to be in the World Series. They're 8 games under 500, even after a hot streak lately.
And I think the other thing, and I was reading some stuff about it in Los Angeles, just about how Josh Hamilton coming over, how do you say it, how good a job Texas and their organization did for Josh, and some of the things that he brings, you know, or doesn't bring, or things that are troubling for him.
Well, you have to help him with his life as well as his baseball if you're going to be employing Hamilton, and especially if you're committing so much money and so many years to him. He clearly has had a very troubled past, and he's had some relapses along the way, and he's a fantastically talented player, but he needs a bit of handling. Gonzalez has struck out 8 tonight. Flores fouls it back.
It's interesting to watch Flores hit. It's, and I don't know if it pertains to the ankle at all, but when he first came up, he had that kind of steady, strong base, and a lot of his hitting now is front foot related, just kind of feeling for the ball to right field.
Well, it's his back, his right leg, right foot's the right ankle that he sprained. That's his plant ankle. And like I said, some guys are slow healers. Some guys have low tolerance to pain.
See how his follow through, he kind of walks in across the plate on his follow through instead of, you like people that have great balance.
Right.
The swing has great balance at the end.
9th pitch of the at bat to Flores, and he bounces one on the right side, and Rendon makes the play for the second out. Gio Gonzalez only has 3 complete games in his career. He might have a shot at one tonight.
Well, you can see the look on the bench. It's a very tough night for the Mets.
Well, the Mets are in a state right now where they're playing a lot of young players, and they've got a lot of young players struggling at the same time. Here's Flores, 1 for his last 26, d'Arnaud 1 for his last 24. When you have that kind of dynamic, it's got to be awfully hard to keep those players who are getting their first taste of the major leagues from getting really down.
You don't want to have them overwhelmed, but then again, you look at it the other way, it's a great opportunity for them.
It's a great opportunity, but if it was earlier in the season, you probably wouldn't find yourself in the lineup. But in September, where you're saying, you know what, I have to take a look at these guys and see if they can play.
I would like to see, to be honest with you, the Dendecker in there every day the rest of the way too. Dendecker and Lagares out there every day.
Well, Terry has said that he does not intend to play Dendecker against lefties for now, because he's trying to get some at-bats for Andrew Brown. He wants to see what he's got.
For Dendecker, this was a good miss, the left-hander Gonzalez tonight.
And for anybody else who's not in the lineup. 1-2 to d'Arnaud. And Travis lifts one to right. Easy for Worth. 8 scoreless innings for Gio Gonzalez, allowing just 1 hit. We'll see if he has a chance for his first complete game of the season. 9-0 going to the 9th. be the 7th Met pitcher of the night.
Well, Herman early on, everything went his way. He had some sticky situations, then pitched himself into a great place, but of late has been giving up a lot of hits.
Last pitched on Friday night in Cleveland. He went 2 innings, allowed a run on 3 hits, gave up doubles to his first 2 batters. Ian Desmond leads off in the 9th inning. Desmond 0 for 3 and a walk tonight. A night that the Nationals have hit 5 home runs.
His walks have gone up, Ron. I think he's gone around the league now. I know he's got the changeup. When he went through the league the first time, he's basically a fastball changeup pitcher. He's got a very good change and a sinking change, but the guys are kind of laying off that little bad changeup now, making him throw strikes.
My argument would be that he doesn't know how good his fastball is. He doesn't throw it enough. That's the thing. Double up on that fastball. He just threw it by him. He's going to a change. You can double up on that fastball. I like him. I think he's got a good arm.
I do too.
He has a chance to, if he gets himself in the win. He's not a kid. This is his time to flourish.
25 years old.
He's a kid. You know what I mean.
Well, he's not 21.
Quick pitch.
And he strikes out Desmond with a fastball. It's amazing how LaTroy Hawkins has taught all this religious the quick pitch.
I kind of love the quick pitch. I wish I had known it in the day, especially late in my career. I might have been able to get occasional out.
Coming up tonight on Geico Sports Night, the only show that's only New York sports. We'll have a one-on-one with Rex Ryan after the Jets win. Rafael Nadal wins the men's final. Oh, I gave it away. Hashtag SNY Sports Night tonight after the postgame.
Spoiler alert. We should have given it out.
Really sorry. Here's Adam LaRoche, who's walked 3 times tonight and has otherwise gone 0 for 1. And here Men gets it in at the knees for a strike. Well, there's no action in the Nationals bullpen, so it looks like Gio Gonzalez is going to have a chance for his first complete game of the season and his 2nd career shutout. Last year, Gio Gonzalez got his only career shutout, a 5-hitter against the Cardinals in a 10-0 win. So a similarly lopsided game, but tonight he's allowed only 1 hit. Wilson Ramos, who has a 3-run homer tonight, waits on deck.
Bats every inning usually against the Mets, doesn't it? Or so it seems.
And LaRoche went around 2-2. Well, tomorrow night Dylan G will get the start for the Mets, and there's been no more reliable starter over the last 3 months in the National League than Dylan G.
He's beat the Nationals 4 times, right?
Well, Dylan made his debut against the Nationals, and it seems as though he has always had their number. Pirates have struck first in the game in Texas, getting a run off Yu Darvish in the 7th. Cleveland has beaten Kansas City 4-3. The Orioles have beaten the Yankees 4-2. So Baltimore and Cleveland have both put up victories. They each started the night 2 games behind Tampa Bay. And the Rays are off tonight. Yep. So they'll each end the night a game and a half behind. 3-2 to LaRoche, and he golfs one out to left center. On comes Young. 2 out. Rays start a series at home tomorrow night against the Red Sox. So this is kind of the Waterloo for the Rays. 7.5 out in the division, but just trying to keep their heads above water in that wild card.
Well, they've stopped scoring again. They started the season when the offense was struggling. Then they went through a period where they were scoring a bushel of runs, but they're back where their offense says. And it's not only that they're struggling, they're leaving runners on base in historic proportions.
For the opening game of that series tomorrow night, they'll have their ace David Price on the mound, and the Red Sox have Clay Buchholz coming off the disabled list to make that start. Of course, Buchholz got off to a miraculous start to his season before he got hurt.
9-0.
There are no runs out of him. So That'll be interesting to see how Buchholz comes back. I would assume he'll be on some kind of pitch count.
Well, what you're trying to do with Buchholz is get him to the point where when the season ends, he is ready to go. 7+ innings.
And that's the luxury the Red Sox have now with the 7.5 game lead. Oh, and 2 to Ramos, and Herman misses high. In the bottom of the ninth, the Mets will have Satin, Young, and Lutz coming up against Gio Gonzalez, who will be bidding for his first career one-hitter. And Ramos chases one out of the strike zone. A 1-2-3 inning for Herman with a couple of strikeouts. To the last of the ninth we go. Gio Gonzalez working on a one-hitter. G against Jordan Zimmerman, who will be going after his 17th win. 6 o'clock the coverage tomorrow night right here on SNY. The Audi Mets box score, not much to show except for Zach Lutz's pinch hit single that hit the chalk along the right field line in the 7th inning. That's the only hit for the Mets tonight, who've had only one other base runner. Gio Gonzalez has walked 1 and struck out 8. Josh Satin leads off the ninth. First pitch swinging, grounds one down to Walters at third. 1 pitch and 1 out for Gonzalez in the 9th inning. And here is the only hit for the Mets tonight.
That was in the 7th inning. Leading off, first pitch just on the chalk. And you see Gio there wishing it was foul. Great effort out of LaRoche. There goes your no-no.
Missed it by that much.
Don Adams.
Sorry about that, Chief. Eric Young 0 for 3 tonight. Well, this is the longest outing of the year now for Gio Gonzalez. He hadn't gone past 8 innings, but in terms of pitch count, he's at 97 now. His high pitch count for the year was 127. So this is a walk in the park as he looks for his 4th career complete game, his first of the season, and his 2nd career shutout. Nationals had back-to-back one-hitters earlier this year, including a complete game one-hitter for Jordan Zimmerman against the Reds on April 26th, one day after Gio Gonzalez and Rafael Soriano combined on a one-hitter also against Cincinnati. One-two to Young, and he punches one to shortstop, and Desmond grabs it, and the Mets are down to their final out. So 2 out and nobody on, and that'll bring up the only man with a hit tonight for the Mets, Zach Lutz. The last time the Mets were one hit 4 years ago, 2009 against the Yankees. A.J. Burnett, Brian Bruni, and Dave Robertson combined to one hit the Mets.
Brian Bruni. Remember that left field fight with him and Francisco Rodriguez? Not a fight. They were at words.
Little disagreement.
Yeah. There's Dylan.
He gets the ball tomorrow. As Lutz takes it wide. Lutz swung at the first pitch he saw as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning and spoiled a night of history for Gio Gonzalez. Good changeup to get the count even 1-1.
I mean, when you look at Gio Gonzalez, his only Achilles heel is his control, and this is as good as it gets for him.
And now he's 1 strike away from a 1-hit shutout.
When he starts throwing his changeup for strikes, watch out.
One-two coming to Lutz. Up and away, 2-2. If Lutz can keep it going, Andrew Brown would be next.
Here comes the hook, right? It's got to be.
2-2. And he bounced the breaking ball. Lutz held the swing, and it's 3-2.
You always want to end these great games that you're pitching with a strikeout.
And as a hitter, you don't want to go down swinging.
Exactly.
Gio's only walk came in the 1st inning to Daniel Murphy, the second batter he faced. Mets have had only 2 base runners all night. 3-2 coming to Lutz, and he walked him his 2nd walk. So Lutz aboard for the 2nd time. Met fans ready for a comeback, it sounds. And here's Andrew Brown, 0 for 3, grounded out to 3rd and struck out twice. Still no action in the Nationals bullpen. There's no hint of Gio coming out of this game. Steve McCatty talking things over with Davey Johnson about how far they would go with Gio if the Mets are able to keep things going. And Brown swings and misses the fastball. Anthony Recker has come out on deck to pinch hit for the pitcher if Brown can keep it alive. Curveball bends around the plate, 1-1. Final in Cincinnati, the Cubs shut out the Reds 2-0 beyond the former Cub Travis Wood. Greg Stammen getting up in the Washington bullpen. And Brown skies one to left field. This should do it. Corey Brown is under it. And Gio Gonzalez has thrown a 1-hit shutout against the Mets at Citi Field, the 2nd shutout of his career. A night in which the Nationals hit 5 home runs and were completely dominant. Gonzalez front and center with his 1-hit performance.
Well, Carlos Torres now has given up 14 runs in 7 innings of work against the Nationals. Been almost perfect against everyone else, and started off the game with a couple of home runs. And Gio on this last out, it's almost no reaction because he's thinking of what might have been.
Yep.
He's thinking of one little piece of chalk that kicked up on a base hit by Zach Lutz along the right field line. All that separated him from a no-hitter.
So the line played a part on the other side of the subway, and it did over here.
There's your game summary. Nationals hit 5 home runs. Gio Gonzalez throws a 1-hitter, and he gets his 10th win of the season as the Nationals defeat the Mets 9-0, the 6th time the Mets have been shut out this year. 9-0 the final, Washington. We'll come back with more from Citi Field in just a moment.